during the recording.
Mm.
Great moments of serendipity.
Yeah.
When did you feel like something really fell together and with ease and maybe with a bit of surprise?
I think the recording was it probably set up. I mean, by the pre-production, when you rehearse with guys, you start to get this feeling this will work.
Okay.
Because I wouldn't have brought them to the studio. I would have kept looking for people if that wasn't gelling. If the, you know, but when you start to play, and you play through a song, and you're like, okay, this is sitting, this is working, and the vision in your head, which is you know, the sound and vision, is like, this is starting to get dangerously close to being the same, which is good. I mean, that's amazing, and sometimes it's better, you know. So you hear those drums on FM radio, the way they come in, and they're like, it's galloping down the road. The way those drums, and you're like, you know, I wasn't thinking that until I heard him play. I'm like, that's what I was thinking. Yeah. That was me all along. You know, and there's a few of those things, you know, with the drums on Thinking of You. The whole song came together. Yeah, but the intro, we were like bouncing a few around, and I was like, and I've been watching this thing about Dave Grohl, who, you know, love him or hate him, he's a damn hard-working man.
Oh yeah.
You know, I just love the fact that he came out with the biggest band of the 90s that came apart in the worst possible way, and his cure for it was to hit music even harder, and he did, and has done for the past X amount of years. You know, he just has not relented. But he was talking about drum parts and Teen Spirit in particular, and he's like, that's just disco flams. You know, this is where he robs.
It's crazy when you listen to that. If you actually just isolate what the drums sound like on that Andy Wallace mix, that bass drum doesn't sound like a bass drum at all. It sounds like a flap, like a. Yeah. It's weird. It's
so
like
so you see, he was talking about that, and he's like, he was doing a disco.
But that's a Wallace too.
Yeah, sure.
That bass drum
sound.
Just,
yeah.
It's crazy. And it's like, how does that work? Mm-hmm. But it works somehow.
Yeah, and so that was playing on my mind. So we wanted an intro, and I was like, let's do something similar to that. Let's do like the next further down the road. So you had Grohl doing the disco thing, and then we're like, okay, let's do Grohl doing a disco thing, doing a 70s funk rock thing.
Right.
So it's this weird, you know, pushing it further down the road. And that intro is my idea of that.
Yeah, well, you obviously, in a way, this is sort of the capping of the album in a strange sense, even though it's probably in the center, which, you know, I guess things move to a peak. Feels like a single. Thinking of You. It's got that really catchy line that did you have that first before you even wrote the song, or
almost instantly? Like
I sang it out loud.
Yeah, you know, exactly. Yeah, yeah. So the sax line was in my head. That was there. The song had a mixture of things like happening, and the chord structure was, when I first sat down and I was playing it, it sounded too much like Lay Lady Lay, and I was like, don't want to do that.
No, it's very breezy now.
Yeah, which Lay Lady Lay is. But then I was like, but there's something else. So I tweaked it, and then it moved away from Lay Lady Lay, and I was like, now I can get behind it. Because otherwise I just felt like, I've jumped on that too much. And part of moving away from that was, of course, the chorus had to be completely different. I didn't want to, you know, chord structures on verses are one thing, but you didn't want to mimic the whole song. And when I switched, I think it was a C sharp minor there originally, so A to C sharp minor, which is more like Lay Lady Lay. And I was like, no, I can't do it. Yeah. And I was like, okay, I find a chordal equivalent and a major 7 in there on the A. And it also gives them more tension because then the bass is holding on that A.
Sure.
Now you've got a completely different entity. And the chorus, I really like that idea of love songs that are more honest. Because too many of them, to me, when I hear them,
they're couched.
But it's just so obvious a lie that I don't want to invest my time in trying to believe it. You know, like, I'll love you till you're 80, and then what? You're just going to dump me? Well, that's not very nice. Let's actually listen to what the guy is saying here. You know, or I love you forever. I don't really, that's not important. That's again, it's just a made up thing. But the idea of a love song that's to a relationship you're in, to something that you are invested in, is far more realistic, which makes it more of a commitment because it's scarier. It's not fantasy. It's not like, what's that song? I saw your face in a crowded place. I'm like, you don't know her. This is just all made up nonsense. This has nothing to do with reality, and hence it's easy. You can fall in love with anyone, but that's not romantic. The romantic is what comes after, what you do. How do you commit to that feeling? How do you prove it, not in nonsense words, but rather in the, in time and in reality. And so the chorus, I like the idea that it feels at first like that kind of love song, and then the last line flips it on its head. So, thinking of you even when I shouldn't, thinking of you, but then all the times we did, then it establishes that this is an established thing. This is real. You're like, now it's way cooler. It's way sexier, it's way realer, but somehow more romantic in my eyes.
Well, it's also bold with this painting the masterpiece at the very beginning.
Right.
Like, I mean, you're putting it out there.
Yeah, why not? And I mean, if Dylan can do one, and the band sang it, and that's the band playing into the songwriting. I was like nodding to that.
Oh no, it's a great.
And yet it doesn't sound like that song, which is important to me as well. So I like that nod to them, which weirdly, I have to say, is a nod to Noel Gallagher, because he does that. He drops a well-known line.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
And I kind of like that because we live in a pop reference world. So my pop references are the band.
That's
what I'm going to tap into. And I like that because it's saying, I'm not the be-all and end-all, but these are the things I like. Maybe people will then go back and listen to the band. And I think that's important to acknowledge those influences.
Yeah,
While at the same time, as I said, I don't feel like I wasn't robbing the band song and making it my own, and Dylan's song, but and all those ideas go into that song, so you have that twisting. I think actually the chorus, there is a Nick Cave song that does that too, which is very much a realistic love song, which he is very good at, So there's those influences. So in a way, it may be the poppiest song because I'm putting my influences in there. Most apparently.
Sure.
So it's like my pop.
Right.
Yeah.